VoxWave now features a streaming radio media player on our website's front page, where local artists can get their music played 24/7. For more information on getting your music in rotation or to perform live at our studio, contact Reg Gaskins at 240-832-4455.
Android users, the VoxWave app is now available in the Google Play Store. Download the app today on your Android device to listen in and view programs.
Business owners looking for a place to advertise your business and promote your products and services? VoxWave is the right place. We have over 10,000 views a day and 70,000 listeners a month. For more information, contact Reg Gaskins at 240-832-4455.
The world's #1 streaming music station, VoxWave.com.
We have your favorite shows on VoxWave.com. Check out our lineup. The Kim Show, Mondays, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. In the End We Win with Curtis, Mondays, 8:15 p.m. to 9:15 p.m. Cooking with Flavors with your host, Chef Flavors, Tuesday, 5:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. Slick Daddy Rick, Heartbeat Congo Hour, Tuesday, 8 to 10 p.m. Impact the World Radio TV Show with Cheryl Woods, Wednesday, 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. The Digital Digest with your host, Digital Ace, Wednesdays, 3 to 5 p.m. Live Set Wednesdays with your host, Frank Dent, Wednesdays, 8 to 9 p.m. The BGKH Show with your hosts, Dominion and Epic, Wednesdays, 9:15 to 10:15 p.m. You, Math, and Me with George Randall, Thursdays, 10 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. Then, on Thursdays at 5:30 p.m., The Prayer, Praise, and Deliverance with Elder Thurman Gorman Jr., The 640 Evening Show, Thursdays, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. The Peace in the Morning Show with your host, Darius A. Stan, co-host, Delicate Daryl Barnes, and Queen Ayakidobi, Fridays, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. The Hall Street Journal with your host, Robert Hall, and co-host Clarence Sanders, Fridays, 10:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Frank, The Success Principles, Friday, 12 noon to 1 p.m. Chanel's 3 Cents, Friday, 1:30 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. The Daryl Allen Harrison II Crime Victims Foundation Show, hosted by Daryl Harrison II, every Friday from 3 to 4:30 p.m. The Rush Hour with DJ Drew and Janique, every Friday from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Different Minds Show, hosted by DJ Bam 640 and DJ Andre Michael, and your co-host, MC Fran, every Friday, 9:15 p.m. to 11:15 p.m. The Healer Blues Show, with host Ron Jackson, every Saturday, 8 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. Hour of Power, with your host, Reverend Winters Rogers, every Saturday, 9:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. And again, the Prayer, Praise, and Deliverance with Elder Thurman Gorman Jr., Saturday, 11 p.m. to 12 p.m. And don't forget Four Sisters Live Talk, Saturday at 12:30 to 2:30 p.m. Turning dreams into reality talk show with your host, Tashika L. Green, every second Saturday, 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. Walk in Newness 24/7 with Missionary Antoinette, Saturdays, 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. News, ULM, news and analysis, information, sports, and black history with your news anchor, Roderick Carter Willis, 4:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. Step your game up with the Youth Project, hosted by DJ Main and DJ Low Hefe, Saturday, 6:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. And don't miss The To Go Show with Kim Brown, Saturdays 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. I Am Dr. Sharon Show, each Sunday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m., featuring The Grind, Entrepreneur Network Spotlight, and Write the Book Now. The Riri Williams Show, Fashion and Style Hour, every first Sunday from 3 to 4 p.m. Real Talk 101, Sundays 6 to 8 p.m. And every third Sunday from 3 to 4 p.m., the Third Sunday Tea Talk Show with Dr. Akita Pearson. Gospel Live TV Show with host Gloria Mello, each Sunday from 8:15 p.m. to 9:15 p.m. Listen to all your favorite shows on VoxWave.com.
VoxWave.com. VoxWave.com, streaming your favorite jazz, blues, and R&B 24/7.
Welcome. How you doing? This is Real Talk 101 here at VoxWave Studios from 6 to 8 p.m. on a Sunday afternoon. My name is Brad Trammell. If this is the first time you're joining us, this is my partner, Orlando Boyd. And what we do here on this show is we have real talk, real dialogue about experiences in life. And what we try to do in the midst of that is expose the devil and his tricks in these last days and times. And hopefully, by anything that we say and what's said here on this show might lead you to understand about the love of God a little bit more and a little bit better. And hopefully would encourage you to have a tighter relationship with him. So that's the purpose, man. What we talking about today? Oh, what you any prayer requests, testimonies come to your mind?
Man, actually, my son lost his great grandmother, his mother's grandmother. That was what's today, Sunday. I think that was Friday, Thursday or Friday morning. Coleman family, Coleman and Davis family, you know, keep them in prayer. Every day alive is a testimony. I mean, I'm a solicit y'all prayers. I've been under attack for a long time, and man, it's taking a toll. Brother's starting to feel a little crush, you know what I'm saying? But I understand, you know, it comes with the territory, you know. Just keep your boy in prayer, you know. Mental stuff.
Yeah, prayer requests for me and my fam is definitely from my parents. I actually got a little bit of a testimony. I was with my mother this past Friday to go see the cardiologist. She had a little bit of trouble maybe a couple weeks back. Didn't tell me or my brother what it was about, but she went to the emergency room. So she had her cardiologist appointment today, and based on the test that were run the day when she got taken into the emergency room, the doctor had deduced, and then based on her test that she had just yesterday, it was, you know, everything was fine, everything was normal, but it could have been a product because of stress. You know what I'm saying? And the thing was, the doctor told us, he was like, unfortunately, currently with today's technology, even there's like no way to adequately measure how much stress plays a part. Now it could, but there's no way to measure it and how much, you know, she's dealing with on a day-to-day basis. But I know her plate is full. She has, she's a principal in PG County schools at a school that actually provides for special needs for children who have special needs, pretty much. And she takes care of my grandmother, and she has her own ministry with Heaven Song, a singing ministry with a singing group. So her plate is full, and so I just, you know, want to keep her lifted up in prayer. But I'm thankful because, you know, the cardiologist could have told us anything. You know what I'm saying? He could have told us good news or bad news, but he has her rescheduled for a more in-depth CAT scan test where they're actually going to shoot ink into her veins. And then the CAT scan, after it pumps through her veins for a specific amount of time, the CAT scan is going to be able to do like an x-ray. And when it does, it's going to flash and show where all the ink is to show how her circulation is moving. Wow. I was like, you know, I was like, wow. You know what I'm saying? They like mapping her, pretty much all of her arteries and veins by doing that. They got a machine that can do that. I was like,
technology mean, man.
Technology's mean, yeah. So, definitely keep that in prayer. I like to lift up all the members of Her Proud Ministry. You know what I'm saying? I know, especially when there's a particular period of time where there's a lot of silence, we don't hear too much from everybody. I know everybody's dealing with their individual storms, so we keep them lifted up. I'm also thankful for, you know, the Lord using us, bro. Yesterday, I tuned in just briefly for the sermon that was preached yesterday at RPC, and Jared was giving the didactic discourse. And he started out his sermon saying, you know, he was timid a little bit. You know, Jared ain't timid. He was like, you know, I'm going to start this thing out by taking a page from Bradley and Orlando's book and be transparent. The first thing that came out of his mind, I'm sitting there, I'm like, I remember, the thing that came to my mind is I remember when I told the Lord I wasn't going to be transparent. I told the Lord I wasn't gonna tell what I wanted, the stuff that was like close to my chest. It's like, nah. But when He sees fit to move upon your heart to speak about the real things you're going through,
Right.
and the testimony that it like how people relate to testimonies. You know, we're gonna talk a little bit about Chantel Smith, you know, speaking on testimony, but the power of the testimony is so serious because it does two things. Not only does it bring the person who's hearing your testimony, it brings them closer, it makes them relate, but then I can actually feel it like loosening the grip of the devil over you. You know what I'm saying? Because he wants you to keep what you struggle with close to your chest. He wants you to keep it in your mind and you own it, because then only you are able to deal with it. You know what I'm saying? You keep it to yourself. You don't talk to nobody else about it. You don't even talk to God about it. You know what I'm saying? You just keep it. And He's like, I got power over you when you do that, because you are never going to get the victory over it. He can tell you all types of lies, or anything he wants to tell. Anything he does tell you is a lie, but he can tell you anything to keep your mouth shut. Nah, they're going to look at you funny. They might talk about you. Anything to get you to keep what you're struggling with to yourself. But when you give it up, like when Paul says, you know, I would rather glory in my infirmities that the power of Christ may rest upon me. When he said that, I'm like, I get new revelations every time I hear that verse, man, because when we do give it up, the power of Christ rests upon us. So not only do we have freedom from that, that's in Romans chapter 8, I believe,
Right.
or 9, and then we have His power to help other people in their struggle, whether they tell us what they're struggling with or not. The fact that we've been transparent helps them to be transparent.
Amen.
I got a prayer partner and that I just gained maybe like a couple weeks ago named Harold Laws. He's been on the show definitely before. We're actually going to try to bring him on sometime in the near future, where we've been rapping every Wednesday morning, 5:30 on the AM. Dumb early. I hate waking up early, but it's for prayer. You know what I'm saying? And he was just sharing some of the stuff that he's dealing with. I started sharing the stuff that I was dealing with. And then I like the way the prayer goes. When I pray, I don't pray for myself. I pray everything I say is about him.
Right.
And then vice versa. So it's about lifting your brother up and praying for your brother so that you know your other brother's praying for you. And I do that for everybody, you know, in our group, whether I hear from y'all or not, because I just know. The fact that we made decisions to do like what we doing today, I know. You know what I'm saying? It's battle.
Right.
It's just a constant battle. And speaking of what you said, it's like, you know, even recently I realized, you know, sometimes we get ourselves into some dumb stuff. I mean, we get ourselves into it. We whittle like a screw. Like if you take a screw and put it on this table, you just screw that joint in, it whittles itself and grounds itself into the table. And then we just ask the Lord to come in with the back of the hammer and yank that joint up out. But when you do that, there's damage both to the table and the nail. You know what I'm saying? He's like, you should have screwed yourself in there in the first place. But because of His grace and His mercy, He does it in such a way to where He can actually pull us out and there'll be minimal damage to us. You know what I'm saying? And I don't understand why He does it or when He does it, but I know He does it for a reason. And this leads me to, you know what I'm saying, before we get any further, let's have a word of prayer. I just want to bring that out, but that's like kind of where we're going today. It's like testimonies and why that's so important. So bow your heads with us as we open up. Lord, Yah Almighty, I thank you for another day. Thank you for bringing us here. We could be anywhere else. Because of your spirit, we've chosen to be here. We ask that now that we decrease and that you increase. Please imbue us with your Holy Spirit. Let the words that we speak be nothing about ourselves but of us, but let it be of you, so that the words that are spoken may land on hearts and be embedded in hearts and ears, that it may bring those people about to come to know you a little bit better and to have a strong relationship with you. In Yeshua's name, I pray this prayer. Amen. Amen. So yeah, you know, with that being said, testimonies. Out at my grandmother's church, she goes to church at this church called Emmanuel Brinklow SDA. Way out, Maryland. It's like way out. But they just got a new female youth pastor who spoke not only last Saturday but yesterday. And this woman of God was incredibly anointed, in my opinion, and from what I saw, she was just open about her testimony and where she came from. And just by looking at her, you know, her frame and her appearance, you wouldn't think that she has the type of testimony that she has. Like she came from a home where there was two parents in the household, but at one point of her life, her father left for whatever situation. She didn't dig into it. And I don't want to dig too much into her testimony because I plan to invite her into the desk at least one of these Sundays coming up. And she was talking about how she joined the gang got jumped into that joint, and then like went hard into the game. And then she talked about how a friend of hers invited her to church, and she denied it. She denied the request at least 2 to 3 times, but the person who invited her to church just would not let go. You know what I'm saying? She came back the next day, like the following day. She didn't wait like a long period of time. She came back the following day because it was just on her to invite her. And then from there, her testimony starts to unfold about how her life just turned around completely, and how she invited her homies, like from the street up into the church, you know what I'm saying, with her. And when I hear stuff like that, I think about what we're tasked to do. Like what our job is and what our mission is out here in this world. Is to bring people to the Lord. It's to bring people to Yahweh. It's to bring them into his presence by way of our testimony and our experiences. And if we not, if we not doing that, all the struggles, like we can sit here, we can talk about our situations, like you said, you crushed based on, decisions you made in the past, but you are able to speak to a select group of people that the Lord has already ordained for you to speak to, who can identify with being crushed more often than not, who can identify waking up in the morning and not having the strength to even move their legs to get up out the bed because of decisions they made to pollute themselves, you know what I'm saying, to add stuff to themselves. I can relate to a bunch of people who particularly fit my testimony, being out there philanderous, being untruthful and deceitful, you know what I'm saying? But each and every person is allowed to go through that, and by the grace of Yahweh, we're pulled back to him, you know what I'm saying? Because if he doesn't draw us first, then we can't even draw to him. But thank the Lord, he does do that, so that when we are drawn to him, we get a piece of his Holy Spirit, which is the most important thing. And then we preach to these people our own testimonies, and we do it with intentional, like do it with purpose. And when we do that, hopefully, you know what I'm saying, the people who are listening, that a seed is planted, you know what I'm saying? A seed is planted, and then the Holy Spirit gives the increase. And now you got a whole brand new set of people with their own testimonies ready to go and reach out a whole other number of people. And I was just impressed by the way she was speaking yesterday, by the way she, the anointing that she spoke with, you know what I'm saying? Her name, again, is Chantel Smith. I know for those who watch this show, she's at Brink Club. She just got there 2 weeks ago. But I have a mission in mind, already given from the Almighty. I'm going to be speaking to her next Saturday because I'm going to be going out there. And try to get her in here on the show. She's definitely going to try to invite her to the 28th, the alumni joint too. Definitely. But it was just powerful, man. I was blessed by it. I was definitely blessed by it. And to see it happening with young people, you know what I'm saying? This wasn't no older generation type thing where somebody old was standing up and saying it. This was a young person, younger than me, you know what I'm saying? Spitting truth and spitting it with power. From a female, it was powerful, man.
Yeah, man, he doing it. These youngins got a whole lot. The Lord got a whole lot he's trying to do with this generation that youngins don't even know. They don't even understand how powerful they are. For real, it's just that they get numbed by mess. Nonsense, you know what I'm saying? I was just sitting there thinking, as you was talking about Charlotte, I watched that sermon, the 7th of April, I think was her first sermon at Brink Club. She was talking about her testimony being in the gang and all that other stuff. Man, I can relate. I mean, it was a gang, but it wasn't a gang. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? They was running around claiming GD, false flagging, should have got whooped. You know what I'm saying? There's some real GDs that popped on the scene. I mean, actually, it was a couple real GDs, some Bloods, dabble with the gang thing. You know what I'm saying? And I feel for people that join gangs. You know what I'm saying? Because you're missing something. And you find like a family over here with these jokers is wild, though. For the most part, my brother hit me to the fact that I like the Bloods and the Crips. They didn't start out as like these vicious killing machines.
Nah, they was there to protect communities.
They was there to protect communities. You know what I'm saying? It's amazing how stuff gets tainted. You know what I'm saying?
Kill the leaders.
Kill the leaders. infiltration from the inside out. Yep. People turn on each other when you was about the community in the beginning. Don't make sense. I mean, as a youngin', I was like, 11, 12, 13, somewhere around there. Wasn't running around, you know what I'm saying, doing too much wild, crazy nonsense, but to feel like you're in a gang is like, 5, 6, 7, 10, 15 deep. You know what I'm saying? You scream GD, jokers come running from anywhere. Yeah. Felt like you was doing something, but that title, gang, it preceded us going into Virginia when we moved, so they was anticipating they was already anticipating us not having a fair shot because we was considered gang members from DC. And it's nothing. It's nothing, you know what I'm saying? It means nothing. The color, I wear blue, I wear red. You know, my cousin Brian still get mad when I call him cuz. Sometimes he a blood, you know what I'm saying? Hey, man, what you mean cuz, you know? But I mean, you know, whatever, cousin, you know what I'm saying? I can't say cuz, but it's just amazing, Joe. And I'm thinking about myself, listening to her testimony. Man, I got a 30, a 27, and a 23-year-old vice. I got a vice that's been with me 30 years, a vice that's been with me 27 years, and a vice that's been with me 23 years. And I'm going to call them what they are, they demons.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And when them jokers when I let them in, at the time, I wasn't even paying no, I couldn't have been really thinking about what I was doing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But after being spared 38 years and being able to look back and see the lack of control in certain areas due to certain substances, I recognize that it's a demon pulling the strings. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, the word tells us that some things ain't gonna change except through fasting and prayer.
Right.
So, you know, we let these clowns in, and, you know, they're not good house guests.
Nah, they're
You know what
not.
I'm saying? They're gonna break your stuff up. They're gonna pee in your closet. You know what I'm saying? Take a dump, don't flush the toilet. You know what I'm saying? Leave the drink out you know, foul. You know, just gonna mess your house all up. And you get before you look in the mirror, next thing you know your window's dirty.
Yeah.
You ain't even realize the window sills have gotten as dirty as they are. You know what I'm saying? Curtains got stains, on carpet messed up. It used to be tan.
Yeah.
Now it's black.
Yeah.
You know, like
He said black.
Like Bruce Willis t-shirt on Die Hard. You know what I'm saying? Joe start out white.
Yeah.
Well, you know, he got a
that
black
T,
white beat
yeah.
on. That's Joe vicious.
That was
That's
amazing,
how
yeah.
life is. So
Yeah.
you start out
He went
clean.
through it, yeah.
Went all the way through it, climbing through all types of little cracks and crevices, Joe. That's what we go through in life all the time, man. We had that dirty t-shirt phase.
We get filthy.
Man, filthy. Bleach ain't got nothing, man. Look, we need the Holy Spirit. We need the blood. We need
the
blood
blood.
to clean our
Whiter than
dirtiness,
snow.
man. You know what I'm
Whiter
saying?
than snow. That's what he said.
It's amazing when you think about it, Johnny. I can't, but he also said he can restore them years, that the cankerworm and the palmer worm. He's a restorer of the past, and he's a healer of the present, and he's a predictor of the future. I mean,
Praise him.
can't go wrong with him. We just so stupid.
So stupid.
Sometimes.
It's the nature, dude. It's all about the
Fallen.
nature to go back to it. Like
Our nature's to fall.
Our nature is to fall. It's to go, and even with the reminder system that we have in place, which is the reason why, you know what I'm saying, at least for us in our faith, that's why the Father says, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. You know what I'm saying? We got to remember this. This is the only one he said to remember. You know what I'm saying? In order to come back to him. Because if we had 7 days straight and then keep going 14, 21, 28 of not remembering just to seek his face, imagine 28 days of the slamming type of hits that we take during the 7-day week, the 6-day week. Like, that'd be too much to bear. We collapse. And then, of course, that would only flood us back to vice, you know what I'm saying, even more hard. And we would just get deeper and deeper and deeper in our own problem with no way out. That's why he says, remember. But the thing I was thinking about when you were talking, and when she was talking also about her being initiated to a gang, is like, we naturally have, like, tribalistic instincts, man.
Right.
Like, for instance, I hate the Cowboys. If you ask me why, because they Bammers, I don't like them. You know, it's because I'm a Skins fan. You know what I'm saying? And I carry it like that. You know what I'm saying? You go to Green Bay, they like, we don't bang with the Bears. You know what I'm saying? We hate the tradition. But why do we do that? Because I'm thinking about now my situation where I took that type, like when I was at Oakwood, when I was at OC, and my boys started getting kicked out after freshman year. They like kicked like 3 or 4 of my homies out from the DMV, just shot and sent them back home. Because they was rough housing, you know, lunching. Some of them was down there joint hustling, you know what I'm saying? But I remember when that happened, that's when I made the decision to join a frat. Right. And I did that so I would have a crew, because I ain't relate to none of them. I couldn't relate to no Bama's from Texas and Alabama and Mississippi. They was Southern, you know what I'm saying? We just different. Couldn't relate to them dudes from the West Coast either. They was too pretty, had too many bright colors. It was like them New York Bama's was kind of up my alley, but you know, it's still a distinct difference between DC and New York, even though there are a couple similarities. So when I was like outside of that, I was like, okay, I had the mindset, let me join the roughest looking legal gang here on this campus. You know what I'm saying? And the Bama's like the brothers in this joint, they all look like football players. So I was like, if we get into a rumble, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna have some hitters on my side. Plus I wasn't no small nigga. I ain't never been.
Right.
So that's the reason why that was one of the reasons, not the only reason, but that was one of the reasons why I initiated myself into that. But as it grew, as I got deeper into the process, I saw brotherhood, I saw relationships expanding outside of undergraduate, you know. And then I saw brothers who were actually dependent upon one another to make each other better. Iron sharpening iron. And, you know, that tribalistic mentality to be a part of the clique and to represent something or try to be a part of something, even though you may not even know what it's about at first, that's kind of like what they was rapping, what I was teaching the brothers about, you know, with 2 Corinthians 11. But before I jump into that, you know, I was just wanting to pick your brain about, like, that tribalistic mentality. It's like, yeah, this us over here, this y'all over there. It was portrayed in music. We grew up, they had that West Coast versus East Coast rap. You go to the Go-Go, you know it's a beef in the Go-Go had when the crews start getting to hollered out. You know what I'm saying? And if a bunch is in there, you're going to get a shootout after so long. But it just tends to be like that. You know what I'm saying? We pick a side, and then it's us versus the world.
I think with our people, with us, instinctively, it's always been us against the world. You know what I'm saying? It's always been, God's always had a chosen people, and the world always wanted to infiltrate them and change them. You know what I'm saying? And make them look like them from the inside out. So our natural instinct is to be on the defense. You know what I'm saying? I think slavery in America has made it 1,000 times worse. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? With how we were pitted against each other as opposed to us being attacked collectively from the outside. Now we're being attacked from the inside, each other. So the enemy ain't got to do nothing no more. We've become trained to kill each other and suppress and, you know what I'm saying, be prejudiced towards each other, so they ain't got to do it no more. And I think the individuals, you lose your, identity. You know, you want to be considered a part of a group, but the group who you're a part of don't want you to be a part of them. You know what I'm saying? It's like once you get to a certain level of status in African American, colored communities or whatever, it's like they have no affiliation with the hood. Even if they came up in the project. You know what I'm saying? And why is that our mindset?
You know, I look at it
by design, though.
I look at it as, all right, so for instance, let's take it from the perspective of, like, with the children of Israel and why they got infiltrated. First of all, they were told when they went into Canaan, y'all need to clear all the rest of these
Kill everybody.
Out. Kill everybody. Take them all out. Because if you don't, you're going to intermingle with them. And then when that happens, you're going to take on some of their traits, some of their thoughts, and then...
But let's look at why, though. Okay. You know what I'm saying? I mean, exactly what you just said. I mean, it sounds a little harsh. God said, go kill everybody. Yeah. Women, children, old people, young. But if you think about why he was saying, kill everybody, he didn't want that mess to infiltrate the children of Israel. He didn't want you to pick up on their bad habits and their base ways, you know what I'm saying? They was just doing whatever they felt, whatever the flesh prompted them to do. They had no structure. Right. They didn't have any holy restriction. Right. You know what I'm saying? They were just doing whatever they felt like doing. And he was like, man, I don't want y'all to end up like that.
But wouldn't it seem, because the reason why they ultimately did it, our nature is sinful. So we're going to resort to what makes sense to us or what our flesh wants to do. And it seemed like the restriction that was being put on them by Yahweh was too limiting or too strenuous, where they saw other people who they were supposed to wipe out. They say, well, they living free. You know what I'm saying? Like, they worshiping idols, and they get to sacrifice and have sex in front of the idols. We can't do none of that. That ain't in our sacrificial system. Can we implement, pieces of that and put it in ours? You know what I'm saying? Because eventually that's what happened.
Right.
They started taking. So, all right. So just expanding on that, I think we tend to choose classism and when we have this tribalistic mindset, is to be like, let us pick the group or the group of people with the most benefits to us, what we see value in. And it's hard for us to see value in Yahweh's group. You know what I'm saying? Because we have a very nature that's against getting or against having the benefits which he's trying to offer. Like he's telling us in the word, whatever things are pure, whatever things are holy, whatever things are just, think on these things. But we tend to not do that.
Right.
Why? Because it restricts our sinful freedom. So because it's restricted to our sinful freedom, we're looking at ways to justify whatever we want to do. So whatever group is doing what we feel like doing, they drinking, they smoking, they partying over there, that's what we down with.
And they're gonna bait you in too.
They
They're
gonna
gonna
bait
make
you
it
in.
look like they showing you love.
It looks good.
I can tell you of a lot of situations, man, when I was tripping, Joe, you know what I'm saying, where I put what I wanted to do or what felt good in that moment over some stuff that was way more important. You know what I'm saying? Just because that's what I felt like doing at the time. Was another mindset that, you know, family first was another that mindset. And it ain't had nothing to do really with, I mean, it might have had something to do with how I grew up, but that was just what my thinking was at that time. You know, you're talking about like tribal instincts. I mean, everybody don't have that. You know, and everybody don't possess the ability to get dropped in the jungle and survive.
Right.
You know, a lot of people are gonna get ate up immediately, or fall in a hole, or get bit by something. Something's gonna happen.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. Took me to that testimony I was telling you about up TA, where my foot slipped between the gate.
Oh, yeah.
But that's a whole other conversation. But I think we're equipped for what it is that we're being subjected to right now. What we have to endure right now, I think we're equipped for it. You know, we've been prepped.
Speak over yourself, bro. That's right.
That's the only way I can look at it. Because to think back to how you 8 years old when you start doing this, you're 11 years old when you start doing that, you're 16 when the house falls down on you. You know what I'm saying? You're trying to get from underneath the rubble. Ever since, you know what I'm saying? Every time you think you're making some leeway, you know, it's like a whole nother floor that you didn't even know was there, falling on you again.
Yeah.
You thought the house had already collapsed.
It's a whole new level.
Whole new level.
But the thing with it's
Check it though. This is what I was telling my brother, right?
Okay.
The beautiful part about it is it's almost like it's coming back around now. I say it ain't something that's been constantly going on, hit and miss, without going too far in depth. Which I don't have a problem with doing. I just ain't gonna do it right now. In the beginning, first go round, there was no communication with the Lord.
Yeah.
There was none.
No communication.
I can clearly recall how I was being set up at that time to not think about the Lord. All my mental energy was going into stuff to the left.
Yeah.
Because I was working with this demon. Me and this demon was on the same page.
Right.
So all of my mental, I can recall like plotting. You told me you was good at lying, man. Look, if I wanted you to believe it, you believe it. I don't care what it was and who you were. It was the time, and I struggle with it now because it's natural.
It's natural.
You know what I'm saying? Don't want to be. At the same time, I don't have a problem with telling the truth on myself after I lied because I realized, dang.
Ain't right.
But it just comes out, you know what I'm saying? Next thing you know, you tell the truth. You man, why you say that? They believed you. But that's not the point, you know what I'm saying? That ain't the truth. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot of people's whole existence, a lie. You know what I'm saying? Because people just accept whatever it is you tell them. I mean,
If it were not for that process, though, there would never be the growth period to where you finally understand, okay, I'm uncomfortable with lying. That's what I thank him for day by day. The day when I was actually uncomfortable and it didn't sit right with me after I told a lie. Because I remember when it was just cool. It was like, and
why
what?
should we have to lie is where I'm at, other man? We should be comfortable enough in our
Own flesh.
You know what I'm saying? In our
It is
conscious,
what I am.
sinful state,
Right.
we know what we are.
Right.
I mean, if you think, if every time somebody does something to you to hurt your feelings, you get bent out of shape,
Yeah.
man, you're not gonna make it. It's gonna be rough
It's gonna be rough.
for you, because people don't genuinely care about people, even family. I almost get tired of hearing people screaming about family, this, family, that, family, that. Man, the Messiah himself said,
Yeah.
they say your mother and your brother's outside looking for you. He said, my mother and my brother are them that hear the will of my Father and do it.
Yeah.
And anybody that put mother, father, sister, brother before me ain't even fit for the kingdom. So this little, and I'm not downplaying family
I got you.
at all. You know what I'm saying? Family is very important. But when we get so caught up in what's going on in our little immediate circles in our family, or even if we got big families and they spread out all over the place, whatever, if we're getting so caught up in our family mess that we missing what the Lord is trying to do to us, for us, through our mess. Well, man, Damon said, Joe, the Lord is looking for people that's comfortable being uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? If you can't be comfortable in your uncomfortable situation, I mean, how you gonna get broke down to the point of the Lord really being able to use you? When you gotta have a level of comfort everywhere. You gotta be able to determine what's gonna happen and what's not gonna happen.
It's about, and just what you're saying, it's about knowing yourself, knowing your strengths and your weaknesses, but then beyond that, not dwelling on that, but knowing that Christ accepts you in that state.
Exactly
anyway.
how you are.
Exactly how you are. With your mishaps, the things that get you bent out of shape easily, the sins that so easily beset you. He knows all of that about you and loves and wants you anyway.
See, I open my Bible up. You in Corinthians.
Yeah.
I open this joint up, and this is what I open up to. And I generally, I like to read whatever's underlined or highlighted.
Right.
We've started talking, so a couple things jumped out. I'm just curious to see what this say. I don't really recall what this particular portion said.
Let's go in.
But it's Luke chapter 9, and the verses that are highlighted, underlined in chapter 9 are verses 41, 44, 49, 50, 56, 57, 58, 60, and 62. I'm going to read them just like they underline. I don't know how it's going to come across. And Jesus answering said, O faithless and perverse generation, how long shall I be with you and suffer you? Bring thy son hither. I'm going to keep reading, verse 42 and 43. And as he was yet a coming, the devil threw him down and tear him. And Yeshua rebuked the unclean spirit and healed the child and delivered him again to his father. It's funny, start out talking about demons that's been with you since you was a child, whatever. It said, and Yeshua answering said, O faithless and perverse generation, how long shall I be with you and suffer you? Bring thy son hither.
You know why he said that, though, right? Why he said that first verse that you said.
Why he say that?
He said that because this was the point where, it's right after Transfiguration Mount, where he took Peter, James, and John up the Mount of Transfiguration, and he left the other 9 at the bottom. And the other 9 sat at the bottom instead of just being thankful that they was with the Lord. And then the fact, they weren't down there by themselves. The crowd was down there waiting.
Right.
They had work to do while they were down there. But instead of focusing on the need and the work to be done, they was like, why he ain't take us up there? He always taking Peter, James, and John somewhere. He don't take us. So what's wrong with me, Slim? Like, because I cuss too much?
Self-setting.
Because I drink too much? Because I take too many selfies? Or because I get bent out of shape because somebody say something? Is it me?
I can't take my eyes off the females.
Or that.
Right.
Because and then not only that, the other ones, they started encouraging each other. Say, yeah, you do be tripping.
Yeah, that's
you know what I'm saying?
Your problem.
Yeah, that's your problem.
Yeah, that's
so
what it is.
the judgment was there.
Yeah.
In the midst of all this going back and forth, a frivolous conversation of which they could do nothing about their current state, this man brought his son. It was like, hey, look, my son has had this demon with him since he was a kid. Y'all roll with him, right? Did you cast him out? Didn't do it. Why? Focus was off. It's focused on one another. And when the work came and their focus was off, they couldn't do nothing with it. So that's why when Jesus came back down, he told them. He was like, I brought them to your boys. They couldn't do nothing with them. Can you do something? It's like, oh, faithless and perverse generation, how long shall I be with you and bear with you? Bring your son here.
Keep reading. How your Bible read that? 42.
And as he was still coming, the demon threw him down and convulsed him. Then Jesus rebuked the unclean spirit, healed the child, and gave him back to his father. And they were all amazed at the majesty of God. But while everyone marveled at the things which Jesus did, he said to his disciples, let these words sink down into your ears.
Now look. This scripture is interesting to me, right? Because this is the word into this thing. The word. My 43 says, and they were all amazed. And this is what after the Lord told these people that they was perverse and faithless, so to bring the son here. While the boy was coming, they clearly saw the devil or the demon that was in the boy do something to him. Right. And Yeshua delivered him and gave him back to his father. Mm-hmm. And everybody was amazed at the mighty power of God. But while they wondered, everyone at all things which Yeshua did, he said unto his disciples, and the reason I said that like that because, the Bible tells us that all the world is going to wonder after the beast. All the world is going to wonder after. Look at what the Lord just did. Yeah. And they were all amazed at the mighty power of God. But while they wondered, everyone and all the things which Yeshua did, he said unto the disciples, let these sayings sink down into your ears, for the Son of Man shall be delivered into the hands of men.
They didn't understand.
They had no clue what was being done right there. I mean, if you got all the world, I mean, the fact that you got people wondering after the Son of God, you got all the world is also going to wonder after the beast. There must be a similarity in the acts that's taking place. There's going to be some miraculous things done by this beast power.
Yeah.
That's going to put people in wonder, just like they did with the Son of Man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's not to tell a person, you know, what they're doing is truth because the Son of Man did it, but it's going to be on that same level as seeing a demon-possessed child healed and given back to their parent is what that beast power is going to be doing. There's some amazing stuff going on in this world church. You know what I'm saying? The Pope giving priests the ability to forgive abortion. You know what I'm saying? Come on, man.
Like it's new.
Like it's something new. I mean, they've always professed to be able to forgive sins, but this is a modern,
Why should
what
it
you
be?
call
It should
it,
be
bull,
from-
papal bull or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Whatever they call them joints. It's amazing what the type of stretching that's being done by that beast power that's making them look similar to the Son of Man. You know what I'm saying? Well, all the world's gonna wonder, like, wow, man, I done got 4 or 5 abortions, man. I can go to the Catholic priest and everything cool. I mean, the Lord will forgive you if you talk to him about it, but you go say a couple of Hail Marys and now you're straight. Vicious deception. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people wonder how that even worked. I mean, they probably was wondering how the Lord did what he did. You know what I'm saying? But what did he tell his disciples? Let this stuff sink into your ears. For the Son of Man, let these sayings sink down to your ears, for the Son of Man shall be delivered into the hands of men. But they understood not.
I think he was also, when he said that phrase of 44, he was like, y'all need to get y'all game together because I'm really not about to be around y'all like y'all think I am to do stuff when y'all, you know, are unfocused. You know what I'm saying?
This joint is really interesting, man. They say, but they understood not this saying, and it was hid from them that they perceived it not, and they feared to ask him of that saying. Then there arose a reasoning among them. Which of them should be the greatest? Pride.
Who is the greatest among us? You were just talking about who had the biggest problems. Now you say who's the greatest?
Who's the greatest? They
Yeah.
say, then there arose a reasoning among them. They're trying to rationalize who's the greatest. Man, shoot, he picked me this many times. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You trying to figure out who's the greatest among the followers of the Messiah.
Right.
He's the greatest.
They still didn't understand his mission to that point too. They still thought that he was coming to liberate them from Rome. So that added to it. It's like if he considers me the greatest, then when he takes power and liberates the Jewish nation from Rome, I'm gonna have that high rank. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be like in Caesar's court.
What did the Lord do? Said, and Yeshua, perceiving the thought of their heart, took a child and set him by him, and said unto them, whosoever shall receive this child in my name receiveth me. And whosoever shall receive me receiveth him that sent me. For he that is least among you
Will be great.
the same shall be great.
Humility, man.
We trying to figure out who the best, who the baddest, who the greatest, who the best.
We should be at a point where we should not even think to have the conversation of who's the
It
greatest.
shouldn't be about us.
It shouldn't.
We should be so thankful that we're being allowed to breathe
Yeah.
and blink. It
Yes.
has nothing to do with us or our position in this thing.
Praise him because you woke up this morning.
Just because he allowed you to still be able to
Praise him
function.
because your heart beat.
Your heart's still beating. That
Because you can
joint ain't
breathe
tr-
air. We had 2 seasonal changes yesterday. It was 82 degrees today. It was 56 when I walked into this studio. We blessed that we could feel the change in the weather. Some people is underground right now, man. They ain't make it.
The disciple that Jesus loved is the one that asked the question.
Who, John?
John.
Yeah.
John answered and said, Master, we saw one casting out devils in thy name, and we forbade him. This is the author of the Revelation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The epistle. You know, the other books. He got a little full of himself. And he was on the Mount of Transfiguration.
Yeah, he
We
was.
saw some, we said, we saw one casting out devils in thy name, and we forbade him because he followeth not with us.
That, this is what I'm saying right here. That exclusivistic spirit, that's indeed a spirit, man. I mean, and our denominations have been accused of that so much. Tradition and exclusivism. You can't come in here wearing jewelry. You can't come in here smelling like alcohol and cigarettes. You can't come in here if you single mother, you got 3 or 4 kids, and you ain't got no father with you. You can't. Why? exclusivistic. Simple way. It's like we saw some other people casting out demons in your name, but they ain't rolling with us. So shouldn't we cast them aside? We see some other people who are worshiping on this other day. They proclaim your name and they got a little bit of power, but ain't they like slumming?
With us.
They can't bang with us though, right? That type of mentality, that type of thinking, it within itself is corrupted because of pride. And because pride within itself is exclusivistic. Oh, I'm all that. I must be, you know what I'm saying? I must be in a position where I am all that and you're not. I have to rise above you, or I have to make sure that I'm better than you. That's what pride is. So,
and people wasn't doing nothing wrong though.
They wasn't doing nothing wrong.
It was casting out devils. That's a good thing.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
Multiple devils. It says devils. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody cast out a devil, so they forbade him. This dude is casting out devils.
Multiple.
You know, he's going around doing a good work, and because he's not following with the disciples, they messed his work up. They messed his ministry up. Hey, bruh, you can't do that. You can't baptize them people. You can't pray for them people like that. Nah, you ain't got our stamp. How you gonna do that? What did Jesus say? Anybody that ain't against it.
Read it. Come on.
He said, and Yeshua said unto him, forbid him not. For he that is not against us is for us.
See how simple that is?
It's very simple. Very
simple
flippin' simple, man.
It's 50-50. You either on his side or you on the enemy side. It's one or the other. It's one or the other.
I don't understand that. It's not complicated right there.
We complicate it because of that same thing we was talking about at the beginning of the show. That tribalistic, exclusivistic mentality. No, now that we know that we tight and we got everything we need, let's make sure it's just us.
Oh, wow.
So that we can be better than everybody else. It was like classism right there.
Tribalism.
This is upper class. We're upper class now. Why? Because we're rolling with the Messiah. He's casting out, doing all these wonderful things, and we are his 12 followers. Like, everybody know that. So if they over there claiming his name and they still ain't, we're walking with him. We see where he goes day by day, night by night. We're walking with him. And they over there casting demons out in his name, and they ain't with us. We got to be better than them because we walking with him. And the Lord is like, what you worried about? If they ain't against us, they with us.
They with us. How many, I ain't gonna say Adventist, Christian, color people, you know what I'm saying, would love to profess to be a part of the tribe of Judah.
Yeah.
Everybody want to be a part of the tribe of Judah, because Christ was lying.
Lying in the tribe of Judah.
But what I found interesting?
What?
Pharisees, which is a sect, no doubt, of the Jews, which is what my Bible reads, derived from the tribe of Judah.
They weren't Levites, though, right?
No.
They weren't Levites.
They derived from the tribe of Judah. The very ones that crucified the Messiah. That's where everybody want to be from. Everybody want to roll with them. I find that interesting.
Man.
They don't even know why they want to be a part of the tribe. Because you look at what look at what they did. That don't mean he ain't gonna save them,
right?
But look at what they got a tendency to do.
You gotta break that in them.
Gotta break it, man. It's a little bit in all of us, though.
It's like breaking a horse. You know what I'm saying? Wild stallion. You can't ride that joker. He bucking around acting wild and crazy.
Toss you.
Yeah, he will toss you. You gotta break him.
Man,
he'll hurt himself and hurt other people if you don't break him. But yeah, man. And then is this okay? It's not the part. I thought we was going into where we was talking about the Samaritan woman, like the woman at the well. But that's not right here, because that was powerful too. But that's a whole other testimony. But yeah, continue reading. What other verses you said you had underlined?
For the Son of Man has not come to destroy men's lives, but to save them. And they went to another village. That's 56. That's actually what jumped out at me first. You know what I'm saying?
The Son of Man did not come to destroy men's lives, but to save them.
But to save them. You know what I'm saying? We feel like we crushed on a daily basis.
Yeah.
I mean, it just reaffirmed to me right there that feeling of being crushed is not coming from the Lord. Because he did not come to destroy men's lives but to save them. I'm feeling like I'm on the verge of destruction. You know what I'm saying? Granted, you let's be realistic. If I know my lifestyle is causing me some confusion, some turmoil, that's one thing. I understand that. Pray about that and move through it. But the feeling of just not. Ain't no hope. Can't make it. You know what I'm saying? That's not what the Lord came. He did not.
He not come to
condemn,
press you,
but to seek and save that which was lost.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So just understanding that that's how he feels about us. He does not want to destroy us. He doesn't want to.
Right.
That's not what he came here.
Not what he came here for.
You know what I'm saying? We might fall under destruction if we keep jeffing.
Right.
But that's not what he came here for, man. I mean, I guess it's safe to understand, you know, trying to figure his voice out. If that's what you're feeling, man, doom and destruction and despair, it's not him. It's not him telling you that.
It's instead of that, instead of having that mindset, it should be more so. And this is a difficult mindset to switch to. I ain't gonna just say this like this is simple. So instead of having the mindset of, man, ain't no hope, son. I'm just out. Like, hold on, I gotta get, cause this hit me. When Chantel was preaching the other day, and she preached her yesterday sermon, one you hadn't heard, she was talking about how she went to Calcutta, and she went over there to do sex trafficking relief. So that was her mission. She was with a group who was working with women who had been in the sex trafficking trade, and she was going over there to give them relief. And she said she went into one orphanage and saw girls from ages 6 to 16. And the looks on their faces, she was like, they were so despondent. The look in their eyes was so, like, impassive. It's just like it was gone. Right. Like, there was no more humanity in their eyes because of what they had experienced. And she went even deeper into, that's why she was so transparent. She was like, some of these girls were sold as virgins. Then they were sewn back up and resold as virgins. And that joint almost had me at tears in my eyes that mankind could be that wicked to a child. A child is helpless, son. You a grown ass, excuse me. Like, hey, real talk. And that's how I felt. Like, I got heated with that. Like, I would do something ungodly to a man who was doing something like this to a girl.
It'd be better for a millstone to be tied around his neck and throw himself into the seat than to offend one of the little kids.
Man,
they get what they deserve when they get in there and they get ran through.
Bro.
I mean, he said vengeance is mine, but yeah, I feel you on that. It wouldn't even be hard.
And she said that her reaction, because of the room that she walked in, she was like, the scope of everything that she saw was so overwhelming. And she related it to when Christ, was going through the wilderness and the mob came to him when he was about to feed the 5,000. He said he saw them all looking like sheep without a shepherd, and he had compassion upon them. And she related her experience seeing all those girls in that orphanage like that to when Christ saw the multitudes wandering around like sheep with no shepherd. And she was just like, what am I supposed to do with this? You know what I'm saying? And she's like, one of the biggest purposes of these feelings of despair and these feelings of helplessness is to push you back to the dependency upon the Father, because that's how it was in the beginning. Adam and Eve were 1,000,000% dependent on anything Yahweh said.
True.
Anything. He said it was good, boom, it's good. They naked. And it was good. It must be good.
It was good.
It was good until they ate from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. They didn't need to have a knowledge of evil because everything that the Lord said was good.
It was good.
Why you need to know about evil if everything is good?
That's true.
And so when they had that impression, the original format was to be, let us lean and rely on everything that he says, because everything he's showing us and everything he says is good. So we got to get to the point where when we realize how much evil that we got on ourselves, we got to go back and re-find out what is good. We can't sit here and just dwell upon our evils like, man, I be tripping. I be lying, drinking, smoking, been out of shape. Somebody said something to me wrong. I got a problem with it. I got a temper. I cuss too much. You can't focus on all that. Your focus should then be, what you gonna do with me, Lord?
Over the years of looking at different little documentary YouTube joints, whatever the case may be, the one joint I was telling you about, Damaged Goods.
Yeah.
One thing I'm coming to realize about, like, the spiritual stuff, this demonic mess going on, Joe, like these doorways get open, portals or whatever you want to call them. If you don't close them, jokers, like that access, that flow, and maybe fasting and prayer could be a way of closing that. I think to acknowledge, to allow yourself to be shown where that door would open at, pray about that situation and allow the Father to step back in time and fix that situation while fasting and praying so your present can be renewed. A lot of people don't remember nothing. Oh man, I ain't do that. I don't remember doing that. I've heard it said that people have to file stuff away in their mental file cabinet. You know what I'm saying? That's bury it, but that's dangerous. I used to try that, but then I couldn't do it. I always remembered everything. You know what I'm saying? I realize now I'm allowed to remember so I can pray about it. Ask for forgiveness if I haven't asked for forgiveness. And acknowledge the fact that I did a bunch of stupid stuff. You know what I'm saying? I was spared through a lot of stuff. But in moving forward, you got to know where you came from. what I'm saying? You got to be able to ask the Lord, acknowledge the fact that, yeah, I was effed up. I did this, I did that. I did this to this person did that to me. They did that to me. I can't believe this individual actually did this to me, but it happened. Man, you got to talk to that individual. Y'all got to sit down and hash some stuff out. Family member, co-worker, pastor, you know what I'm saying, elder, whatever. Man, the devil know how to crush a person's spirit. Them girls' spirits were broken. You know what I'm saying? Like a dog, you beat a dog bad enough as a puppy, you ain't got to worry about that joker ever leaving off the porch. You ain't got to worry about him doing nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That dog is worth nothing once you break its spirit. You know what I'm saying? It ain't even gonna let you know if somebody coming. That's how the devil like doing human beings. You know what I'm saying? So we can't even we can't even alert nobody that he coming. Once he crushes, all we do is just sit there and watch him approach us. And then maul us and do whatever you're gonna do.
It's like being in the devil's dungeon.
But the key to the dungeon belongs to Yeshua. Mm-hmm. Matter of fact, the door's been open. That's the crazy part. He was telling me this today, right? The door's been open. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? When he conquered death and the grave.
When he conquered death and the grave, that's right.
When he died on the cross and chose to take that supernatural trip to hell, you know what I'm saying? And I think physically smacked the devil out, you know what I'm saying, his homie Hades, and smacked him out, took the key, you know what I'm saying, and came back here so he could take the key to his father and hang it up next to the throne. Like, look, everybody that go to sleep, we got access to him, you know what I'm saying?
Then he's gonna destroy him.
Yeah, the devil just wanted to just keep him there, sitting on the side, so he knew he was going.
Right.
He thought he was taking everybody with him that chose to not roll with. Nah, you ain't getting everybody. As a matter of fact, you only can really get those that picked you. You know what I'm saying? But those who you've deceived, I may even have mercy on them. You know what I'm saying? After he died and he went and got the keys. Before that, he couldn't really do nothing. Yeah. I think the Pentecost say the Father had to, until like Christ conquered death and the Father accepted that. Everybody that died before him, man, it wasn't stamped. It wasn't guaranteed.
Everything was riding on that move.
Everything was riding on that move, Joe. But then once he did it, everything before and after.
You know how fantastic that is?
That's a vicious joint right
there. It just went both ways. It wasn't just for the future, it was for the past.
The Father had to accept it first.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? The Son was willing. Spirit, I can see he was on pins and needles, couldn't wait to get down to this joint and do what he's doing now. You know what I'm saying?
But it's amazing because even though we know that when he was fully God, he was still fully man at the same time, and that was evident when he asked his Father 3 times. It's like, look, this is my cup, but I don't want to drink it.
Right.
Nevertheless,
not my will.
Not my will. But when the word came down, when the angel came down to minister to him, and he showed him the vision of uncountable numbers rejoicing in the end, the glory that was set before him, how could you say no to that? And he couldn't. The shout of victory is going to be so great. The heavens will ring. We talking about a speck of a planet. A speck of a planet, dog. Our world ain't big compared to what exists.
Compared to what's out there now,
we ain't nothing. And then you consider our size on the planet that ain't nothing, considering what's out there. And we gonna make all that ring because of the cry of victory. We gotta keep this stuff on our minds, ladies and gentlemen. This stuff, there has to be a hope to look for. I always tell, my friends, whatever, it's like, always got to be something to look forward to. Like plan a trip, you know what I'm saying, an event, something that you can look forward to. Because if you just live this life in a monotonous, boring manner, you know what I'm saying, you'll get bogged down and get depressed real quick. Because it's just the way the world is. Too much negativity. There's more negativity than positivity. But you talking about an ultimate goal? You talking about an ultimate event something to look forward to? The coming of the Lord, and let it not just be a fantasy. Like, man, can this ever happen, or when is it gonna happen? Don't worry about when. Just make it your point that every morning that you're gonna be counted to that number, because it says if you believe, then you shall receive eternal life. It's a gift. There ain't nothing you can do to earn it. You can't go out there and feed a certain number of homeless people. You can't go out there and do a whole number, a specific number of deeds or anything. You just gotta believe.
That's it.
Believe it.
You gotta believe it to receive it.
That joint is incredible, man.
I'm curious to get what he's gonna give you on these last about 4 or 5 verses.
Okay.
6 verses actually. And it came to pass that as they went in the way, a certain man said unto him, Lord, I will follow thee whithersoever thou goest. And Yeshua said unto him, foxes have holes, and birds of the air have nests. The Son of Man hath have not where to lay his head. He was homeless. And he said unto another, follow me. But he said, Lord, suffer me first to go and bury my father. Yeshua said unto him, let the dead bury their dead, but go thou and preach the kingdom of God.
It's the most important thing there is. You gotta understand. This is what I'm getting from it. For the fact that Yeshua would not even consider the grieving process and the process of loss that somebody would feel when a loved one, like he said, his father. Am I right? He said his father.
Let me go bury my father.
So, needless to say, a child burying their father, that's a very significant loss. Like, it's going to be some emotional impact. But the urgency of the message of the kingdom is so overshadowing and so overpowerful. It's like, even though you lost your father, in the end, he's going to be back.
He said, let the dead
bury their own dead. Right.
Let the dead. That means if you were living, but you so focused on the fact this person just died, you might be dead.
Yeah, good point.
Go preach the kingdom, Slim.
That's right. Be alive and preach the kingdom. Don't even be focused on the death.
Let the dead bury their dead.
A better day after a while.
If the living know that they shall die, but the dead know not anything, anybody who's living, who knows they're going to die, but you so focused on the dead, you might just be dead. I know that probably doesn't sound too palatable, you know what I'm saying? But, yeah.
It's about what you value important. It's about the value of the message of the kingdom. It's about the value of the gospel.
It's straightforward, yo. Man, it's...
Then what he said, and
another also said, Lord, I will follow thee, but let me first go bid them farewell which are at home, at my house. That's what mine read. Hold up. Yeah. And another also said, this is after he said, Lord, I want to follow you, but let me go bury my father first. Let me go bury the dude that gave me my good name. You know what I'm saying? That gave me my hand. Let me go make sure Pops is taken care of. Gotta handle that before I even go to church.
Right.
Gotta make sure. He said, man, look, let the dead bury their dead. You go preach the kingdom of God. Another one said, I'm gonna follow you, but let me first go bid them farewell, which are at home at my house. Which are at home at my house. I mean, my grandfather had a couple different places. You know what I'm saying? He had home, and he had his house. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
He was a Rolling Stone, for lack of a better way to put it. Had two families. But I mean, that may not be what this is implying, but let me go bid them farewell, which are at home at my house. You worried about leaving the presence of the Lord to go concern yourself with something that's going on at home. Pray for your family. We already established, man, his mother and his brothers are those that hear the will of his father and do it. You're worried about burying your father. You're worried about going and making sure everything's all right at home. But you got the sign right in front of you. Yeshua said unto him, no man having put his hand to the plow and looking back is fit for the kingdom of God. He probably just got a little fed up at that point. Like, man, y'all, you see what I'm doing? You see what I've done here? You talking about going to birth. You have the bread of life in front of you. Did you not? Well, I'm not sure if he's raised Lazarus from the dead or not yet. But I mean, I'm the giver of life. You worried about going and burying somebody? Why not bring them to me? Why do you say, Father, I want to follow you. Let me go get my dad and bring him with me first. He's at the point of death. Or let me go get my father and bring him to you so you can bring him back so my dad can be with me on this journey. You see, I'm thinking ain't right there.
You know what I think he meant by that also? I think he was trying to get them to fully realize they initially were convicted about what he was talking about. But him saying these, I guess, words of rebuke or letters or words of retort to what they wanted to do, is like, no. I don't want you to just be convicted about it. I want you to more fully grasp the conviction of what I'm telling you, of how important this is. Oh, okay, this is good, but let me go say, no. I need you to wrap your mind around this. This gives life. This provides hope. This gives somebody a better day, something to look forward to. This brings you out of the pit that you can't even get out of. Don't go back to the pit. Don't go back to the pit and talk to whoever else is still back there and try to break yourself away from them. Because if you do that, you might even get pulled back. Because you're so wrapped up in it. Like you might say bye to somebody, no, where you going? We got plans. You might get distracted. Because you know the enemy is standing right there trying to say, he's on the brink of moving forward. I got to do whatever I can to turn his attention back around. So because of that, you might get caught back up. It's like don't even move forward and look back. I'll take care of that. And why should you believe that I'll take care of that? Because I'm bringing you the kingdom of God. And the kingdom of God covers all that.
He didn't come to destroy men's lives.
He didn't. He didn't come to destroy men's lives.
You had mentioned something about the Book of Judas.
The Book of Judas. We ain't got time to jump in.
I mean, we could
Too heavy right now. But
well, yeah, you know, what you was thinking about doing? We ain't gotta go, you know, just talk about that for about 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah,
You know, shut it down.
The book of Judith, okay. The Book of Judith, first of all, is a part of one of the apocryphal books that were still in the Hebrew Bible. And it's a story about, I like to equate her as a go-hard Esther. Now we know about the story of Esther. Esther is in the Word. It's in any Bible, any General King James or NIV or anything like that. But Judith was a woman who Esther was put in a position. She was selected and put into a position to save her people in a time of great peril. Judith heard about a time of peril coming, got up and went after the call.
Volunteered, yeah.
She volunteered to go, and she did it in such a go hard way.
Man, went hard.
Because she was tired of the game.
Man, tired of them
She was a widowed woman who married a good man who had left her, went to sleep, a couple years before, and she had married another dude after him. She was taking care of her late husband's estate, taking care of all his business affairs, but she had more than a mustard seed. She had a walnut of faith. But she was like, And you know what the problem was? I think she understood how the Lord or Yahweh sustained her in the loss. She was like, if he's this good to me, so that I can maintain my late husband's estate and giving me solace and comfort day by day, I ain't gonna let nobody come up in here think that they could push my God around.
See, the crazy part about it is they was in the mountains.
They was in the mountains.
The Israelites
right.
in the mountains, and Nebuchadnezzar's home, Holofernes or Holofernes.
Before you say that, I just want to make another reference point. The Book of Judith is a part of the apocryphal books. If you go on your Bible app and you type in apocryphal books, I think it's just like it sounds, then you'll see the Book of Judith come up. That's the only way you're going to find it. Or if you just Google it, if you Google the Book of Judith, there you go, then you'll find it.
But
so I just want to put that out there. Book. Yeah.
But the fact that them jokers was up in the mountains, you know what I'm saying, it was a fortified position. They figure, it's like we're going to smoke them out. We're going to choke them out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We're going to cut off their water supply.
Yeah.
And that's what, they besieged the well. You know what I'm saying? They took over their water supply. Dude was like, hold up, man, we got people dying. These guys, people.
Yeah.
That was like how David was offended when he heard Goliath talking trash to the armies of Israel. He's like, man, hold on, who is this uncircumcised Philistine? They keep talking, define the name, you know what I'm saying, of the God, talking bad about the God of Israel. You know what I'm saying? The armies of Israel. Shawty was like, oh man, y'all coming for God's people? This female. I'm sure there was men in the camp, not to say, women, y'all go hard. Had to check the elders. Had to check the elders.
I knew you was gonna like that one.
Had to check the elders, but look, had a move though.
Had a move planned.
She took her move to the Lord. See, that's what I found so amazing.
All right, so just to explain a little bit further, because I don't want nobody to get lost. This woman Judith had a plan. There was all right, we heard of Nebuchadnezzar. Nebuchadnezzar had a right-hand man, a general. His name was Holofernes. And he sent Holofernes to go wipe out a whole, like to just have a conquest, moving, I think it was east they were located, and just run through the east. Wherever city, whoever's out there, run through them, make them pay homage to us, conquer, sack, do whatever you can. And the children of Israel was in that path. And they was in a mountain. And so Holofernes, he's like, man, we done rolled through everybody else. We're going to roll through these jokers too. But they were warned. They were warned by
Esau's people.
Yeah, Esau.
Esau's people.
Esau had a relative who was in the camp of Holofernes. He was like, ho, you can't just run through these people. The only way you can run through them is if they disobey their God, and then he leaves them alone.
Yeah.
And then that's how you'll be able to take over. But if they're being obedient,
you ain't got that covered.
And the Lord is with them, I'm sorry, we ain't got no work for him.
Don't do it.
But they kicked this brother out of the camp because of the fact he said it, because they got prideful. They was like, what? Slim, we've been rolling through everybody. They called Nebuchadnezzar king of the world.
Yep, king
in
of
the
world.
book. He's like, this dude right here, he is God. So because of that, and we're envoys of the Most High, we're going to go out and wipe them out. So they kicked this brother out, and they sent him to the children of Israel. They bound him up.
Yep.
And the children of Israel came, they took him. He gave them the whole war report. He's like, look, man, I told these people. It's like, if the Lord is rolling with y'all, don't attack. But then they made the plan to wait them out. And then the children of Israel still got antsy, and they went back to the elders, and they was like, yeah, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? The elders was like, give them 5 more days, and if the Lord does not move for us, then we'll, tool up. Because that's what they wanted to do. They wanted to tool up and go fight. It was like, the Lord don't do nothing in 5 days, then we'll do it. Judith heard of this message. She's like, who are you putting a limit on the Lord for? Like, how you want to give the Lord 5 days? It's like, you don't give the Lord a timetable. You don't do that. You move when he say move. And she was like, she was like, matter of fact, I'm gonna show you how go hard it is. She said she had a plan to by herself, and within her prayer, she had a plan, and then she prayed to the Lord before she enacted this plan. She was like, Lord, this is what I'm gonna do. Mm-hmm. I want you to be with my mouth. Yep. All the beguiling words, I want you to be with my appearance. I want to be able to hypnotize any man that looks at me. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna roll into this brother's camp. I'm gonna go into his tent, and she was like, give him into the hand of a woman like me. So Judith,
she prayed a prayer.
She prayed
to the Most High that he would give her victory in the lie that she was about to go tell.
Yeah.
This deceitful act that she was about to go commit on the strength of his people. She basically it was a good plan.
Her motive, her
heart was in the right place.
Her heart was in the right place.
But it was clearly a vicious setup with trick bags. Trick bags.
She even blew me because the word said that she even dolled herself up with all of her jewelry.
Painted herself up, you know what I'm saying? Took off her widow's clothes and put on her club dress, her freedom dress. Had the cuckoo suit on, make sure they see the good. It's like, yeah, man, pulling all their attention was for the purpose of alluring them to her. Mm-hmm. And she purposely set out to make these men, so overwhelmed with her beauty that they wouldn't know what to do.
But then it said specifically in the word, it said, and the Lord approved it because her motive was not for vanity, but for virtue. So she dressed herself up in everything, not to be like, oh, look at me, come take pictures, I'm all that. She did it for virtue. She's like, I'm doing this because there's a plan.
She knew what was going to happen.
She knew what was going to happen.
She knew what was going to happen. She didn't need to do it so she could feel better.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? To help boost her ego.
Right.
She kept herself plain. But she realized, these jokers is so stuck on stupid. Mm-hmm. All I got to do is show a little thigh, show a little cleavage, cuff the cheeks. You know what I'm saying? Enhance the eyes, make my eyelashes a little longer, put a couple hoops in my ears, tie my hair, you know what I'm saying? Or put something else on it ain't mine. Right. You know what I'm saying? Put some shit across me this way and something tight that way.
Right.
Got him. You just following.
And everywhere from the time she left her house, she not only hypnotized the men in the children of Israel camp, who were afraid to let her out because she was so fine. But when she went out on the road, some Assyrian guards intercepted her, and they was like, hold up, Slim. We got to kill every man.
Who are these people?
Who are these people who let the women like this come out here by themselves?
We got to get rid of all of their men.
We got to get rid of all of them.
These are the Israel. These are the Hebrews. Yeah, the children of Israel. That's what they was. Not only was they beefing with us because the Father was with us, they was beefing with us because we had bad women in our camp.
Bad women in our camp.
The baddest women.
And they was for the Lord. They
had
for the
Lord, and they didn't have to show.
They asked the Lord to prove.
They probably nobody paid attention to Judith before she decked herself out. But she was still the baddest thing walking around.
Because she was in widow's clothes the whole time. But she was handling her business.
Man, but
she was
like
in
that
position.
though.
Yeah, she was like that. Yeah.
Ain't nothing wrong with covering it up, y'all.
And the word said she was exceedingly beautiful.
Yeah, exceedingly beautiful.
Yeah. So they got her all the way to the tent, and when she went into the tent, all Holofernes, who was the main dude, all his generals, all his dudes was around, and they was marveling. You know what I'm saying? And then she put her plan into place. She was like, look, this is what it is. If you go at them when their God is with them, you're going to fail. But they have started messing up already. Mm-hmm. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go out to pray for the right time and the right place. Let me come and go freely out to the plain to say a prayer. And I will come back to you and let you know what the Lord says and when you can attack. And it says that her word not only pleased everybody, but they were so engulfed in the way she looked that if she had told them the sky was red and the grass was blue, they'd have believed it. They'd have believed it. So Holofernes, of course, the main man, he was like, all right, look, the night ain't going to end like this.
Yeah.
we gonna have a little party.
We about to have a party.
We about to have a party. Get all the drinks out.
Get the booze.
Get all the great food out. All the little aphrodisiac foods. Get all that out. And I'm gonna get with this youngin.
Got too drunk.
Got too drunk. Then he sent a man to go get her out of the tent. Oh, she's like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
How about that life? Let's go. Let's go. She went to the party. She drank Southern, a little bit, but Holy Fernie's went in. He punished too much liquor.
Hold up, no, did she?
Yeah, she went in there. Hold up, did she partake?
Nah, I don't think she did.
You don't think she partook?
I think she told him that, nah, I'm not gonna mess with you. I'm not gonna do none of this. Just like Daniel did. Because it jumped out at me when he was like, man, he offered her this, that, the other thing. I don't think she partook, though.
Okay. She may not have. Okay.
You got it right there. Yeah, I mean, I want to know.
I'm about to read it to you.
Yeah.
Now, when Judith came and sat down, Holofernes, his heart was ravished with her, and his mind was moved, and he desired greatly for her company. For he waited a long time. He waited a time to deceive her from the day he had seen her. Then said Holofernes unto her, drink now and be merry with us. So Judith said, I will drink now, my lord, because my life is magnified in me this day,
there you go,
more than all the days since I was born. Then she took and ate and drank before him and her maid and what her maid had prepared. And Holofernes.
Oh. Now what did it say?
It said, then she took and ate and drank before him what her maid had prepared.
There you go. Yeah. So she brought her own demonstration. That's what jumped out at me. Because before they left, they got their stuff together.
Yeah.
And they brought the stuff with them. So
she knew. She knew it was party time.
Yeah. So she had the Welch's. She had the sparkling grape juice. You know what I'm saying? She ain't had the Moet.
She had the Welch's, though.
You know, she had the Welch's. So I'm gonna eat and drink with you. I ain't gonna eat your pig though. Yeah. I got my tofu over here. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. She came with the bag already ready.
She came with the booze,
yeah.
man.
So she did eat and drink.
And Holofernes took great delight in her and drank more wine than he had drunk at any time.
He drank hers and his. He drank his and hers.
It said he drunk more than any time he had been born. He's like, yeah, you ran, Slim. Bottoms up.
He got bit back.
So
thought he was against him though.
Man, he thought he was.
Thought he was.
But then he couldn't stand.
Yeah,
he passed out.
He passed out.
Everybody left the tent, and everybody left the tent because they knew what Holofernes wanted to do. He wanted to sleep with her. Yeah. So everybody left him alone. And then Judith, go ahead and tell them what Judith did, though.
Man, look, Shawty got us all together. She had already put the guard on point that she was gonna go out and pray. Told her maid in waiting that she took with her. You know what I'm saying? Her woman servant or whatever. What she tell her? Don't let nobody come in.
Don't let nobody come in.
You know what I'm saying? Watch the door.
Watch the door.
She about to go in here and I guess enact their plan. You know, I'm thinking, reading this for the first, I'm thinking she about to smash Slim. You know, I'm thinking she about to go ahead and, take them for the team. You know, get Holofernes off, and get them off and then get them off.
Yeah.
Nah, Shawty prayed a prayer. She approached the Joker and took something.
A scimitar.
A scimitar off his bed.
If you Google a scimitar, it's a very ancient looking sword. The joint got a very weird curve.
Nah, she kept something. Like she took a piece of his bedding.
Yeah, she took it.
Like a little lace, something.
That's right.
Like a little piece.
He had like tapestries over his bed or whatever. She took them too.
Took some of that.
Yeah.
And then took this Joker by his hair and chopped his head off.
Wop. Headless.
Chopped his head off and
took
the head
in a bag.
Put it in a bag and gave it to her girl that was at the door, right? Then she rolled out like she was going to pray. She
was like, let us through. We about to go out to the plane to pray. And when she left the camp, she went straight back home. And then she took the bag, she took the head out the bag. Like, this is the Joker who said he was going to come run through us. And everybody went crazy. Everybody rejoiced. Even the brother who had warned them, they brought him back out. And he fell at her feet. Says, man, the Lord has delivered, he's delivered them in our hand by a hand of a woman. Like, he couldn't believe it. Then when that happened, they took the warriors.
She told him, take that head, and put that head
put it on the rampart.
Point.
Yeah,
put it on the highest point up there. So when them Jokers, and then array yourselves for battle.
Array yourselves for battle.
Put the head up there and array yourselves for battle. When them Jokers down there, when the enemy, when they get up and they see y'all in battle mode, they're gonna array themselves for battle. They're gonna realize that their general ain't with them. You know what I'm saying? And they're gonna flee. And when they flee, then you pursue and you pillage them and do whatever. So they weren't supposed to just run down on them once the fear initially set in, because they heard them wailing. Yeah. You know, so they could hear all that mess. It's like, nah, let them run first.
Yeah.
And when they ran, then the warriors, the ones in the camp of Israel who were warriors, not just all the men, not the men and the women, but the warriors. You know what I'm saying? Ones who were equipped for this type of wreck, the ones that chased them, pursued them. And when the word hit the other camps,
they went out and joined the battle.
went out
and
wrong
crushed
too.
them all the way, so we decimated all. Not only that, not only did they decimate them, but all the treasure and all the booty that they had left behind, they stocked up on that too. So they came back rich.
They gave Judah all the Holofernes stuff.
Yeah, that's right.
What she do with it though?
Oh man, what did she do?
She did something with it at the end. You know what I'm saying? I don't think she kept it.
I read what she did with it.
I know they gave her like all his stuff. I guess what was his bed? Specifically said he gave her some.
Because she had that stuff that she took from his bed. She brought that in her own household. It's like a trophy type thing for what she had done. Children were hurt. They fell upon consent. Jehovah, they got to Damascus, and they returned to slaughter. This is it. In the mountains, they got many spoils, for the multitude is very great. I can't find it right now because just.
I think it's in the last chapter.
Yeah, it might be.
Was it 14, 15?
15. No, 15 is when they sing a song of praise to it. So, 16, the last song, they this whole verse is they sing a song of praise.
Either way, she got that bad stuff though.
Yeah. And that's how they ran through them, man. And then she lived out her years peacefully till she was like 105 years old. 105 years old, and her legend just grew and grew. She never married another man again after that.
Nope.
But she went down in the history books as one of the baddest judges.
Her name's rang bells back then.
Yeah.
So you mentioned the name Judith. You don't want no problems with Judith.
No, you don't.
We don't hear about her though. I don't understand that. That's unfortunate. Look her up. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely, man. But it was a powerful story, you know. And these stories of the Bible, you know, all through here, stories of courage, stories of people who just been fed up. And really, what it was the Spirit of God, you know, moving within them to spur them to do this. You know what I'm saying? Because without that, where's that courage coming from?
That's true.
Where's that courage coming from? So
He's doing the same thing now.
Yeah.
I think that's why he's allowing stories like this to even
come out.
You know what I'm saying? There's some young women out there who probably got it on their mind. Man, these dudes BSing. The dudes in my camp. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe they ain't BSing, but maybe they not listening as clearly as you listening. Man, the Lord telling you to, nah, don't grab a sword and chop nobody's head off.
Right.
But, if he's telling you to sever some ties, you know what I'm saying, with some satanic agencies for the furthering of this gospel and for the uplifting of his people, man, jump out there, just like Judah did. And same thing for the fellas. You know, it's a lot of brothers that's being called to make moves. They don't understand where the thoughts coming from, where the inclination is coming from to do this thing. It's the Holy Spirit. You know what I'm saying? He picked you, he picked us for a reason. So the truth is gonna be revealed, man. God is not gonna allow his people to be wholly wiped out. At the same time, he's not gonna allow us to go wholly unpunished. You know what I'm saying? We're not gonna be utterly destroyed, but we're not gonna be wholly unpunished. That's what he told us in Jeremiah. So take the lumps with the bruises, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But anticipate the truth, especially if you're seeking it. And don't be out here looking or seeking the truth and just be willing to take whatever comes from whoever brings it. I mean, we might, I ain't gonna say put our spin on what we reading. We use our sanctified imagination sometimes and expound a little deeper, but it's all coming from the word or scripture. You know what I'm saying? Even the story of Judah, it's an apocryphal book. You know what I'm saying? It's part of the Hebrew scripture. So do some research, you know, look these people up, read these stories, man, and let the Holy Spirit work.
Absolutely.
That's what we try and do in all our lives. You know?
Yeah. Well, with that, you know, we're going to go ahead and wrap up another episode today. Next week, we'll have Jared Taylor back in the studio for we're going to do Water for the Thirsty. He's coming Friday, and then Jamal Burrs will be with us at the end of the month. We pray that you have a blessed week. We pray that something that was spoken tonight rests in your heart and in your mind, and encourage you to seek a closer relationship with the Lord, because he's definitely wanting a closer relationship with you. You want to close this out, O?
Yeah, bow your head. Heavenly Abba, Lord, thank you for allowing us this opportunity to come into the studio today. As it always happens, you know, my mindset was one way when I came in, and I thank you for removing the weight that was sitting on the back of my neck. Forgive us for our many iniquities. And based on the thought you just placed on my heart, I'm gonna thank you in advance for allowing the broadcast to take place from DuPont. Yeah, that was you. So I don't know how that's gonna happen, but thank you for that. And I pray and ask that somebody received a blessing from something that was said. Be with our individual families. Be with the Coleman and Davis family as they mourn the loss of Miss Coleman. Be with Brad's mother. You know what I'm saying, as she waits for the next go round of testing. And thank you for allowing it to only be something stress related and nothing more serious. Dealing with the heart. Be with our siblings. Be with the studio and individuals, engineers of the studios, Ron and Reggie. Be with the rest of the Vox Wave family, the other shows. We all going through something right now, and just give us the strength and the ability to endure and to see this thing through to the end. But we know the race is not to the swift, but to those that endure. Thank you in advance for all your blessings. This is my prayer in Yahweh Shai's name. Amen.
Amen. Amen. This is Real Talk 101 from 6 to 8 p.m. here on Vox Wave Studios, and we'll see you next week.
Seek truth.
That boy Ken